The porter wife, a millionaire's regret at Varanasi Junction, in the middle of the busy crowd at the railway station. A beautiful young woman was walking fast, carrying a heavy bag. The same woman who was once adorned like a princess in the wedding pavilion, to whom her husband had vowed to protect forever, was now seen at Varanasi Junction wearing a red sari and badge number 108 tied to her arm, working as a porter. And among that crowd stood her millionaire husband, the man who once swore she would never have to bear any burden in life. Such a twist of fate perhaps no one had ever seen before. The scorching sun, the air heavy with dust and smoke, the vendors shouting "Chai garam, chai garam," and the echoing whistle of trains filled the atmosphere. Amidst that rush, one woman walked with her head down, her shoulders slouched under weight, sweat glistening on her forehead. Yet her face carried a strange mix of determination and exhaustion. Her red sari fluttered in the wind. The brass badge on her arm glimmered Porter No. 108. She was Suman, once someone's beloved wife, now just another labourer on the platform. Her every step seemed to tear away pieces of her past. No one recognized her in that crowd except one man standing on platform 5. He was Rakesh Malhotra, a rich businessman in a shiny blazer, branded shoes, and expensive sunglasses. To everyone, he was the man who had everything. Yet his eyes were empty. And when those eyes fell upon the running woman before him, his heart stopped. The coffee cup slipped from his hand. His lips trembled. "Superman," he whispered, barely audible as memories flooded back. The crowd noise faded. Time seemed to stop. He could only see her face, once radiant, now tired and scarred by hardship. And in his ears echoed his own words from long ago, "I will never let you carry a burden. Suman, your smile will be my strength." But today, before his eyes, that same wife was carrying someone else's luggage. Rakesh's throat went dry. He began walking through the crowd, whispering, "Suman, Suman." She stopped, slowly turned around. There stood the man who was once her world and who had once thrown her out of it. Her eyes glistened, but her lips uttered only one word: "You." The moment she said that, Rakesh's mind was flooded with the past. The first time he saw her in college, hair dancing in the breeze, a soft smile, and books pressed to her chest. He never knew then that this girl would become his heartbeat. Their friendship grew into love. Endless evenings by the Ganges, hours of tea and laughter, dreams of a future together, Rakesh once told her. One day I'll be a big man. Suman laughed. I don't want your wealth, Rakesh. I just want you. They got married, a simple ceremony, but their love made it grand. Their small home was filled with laughter, tea-time talks and dreams. But time changed everything. Rakesh's business began to shine, and with it came fame, money, and distance. He'd return home late, leave early, and never had time to talk. Suman would say softly, I don't need riches, Rakesh, I just need you. But he'd reply, wait a little longer, Suman, once I'm successful, I'll give you everything. Days passed, the distance between them grew, until one night a fight broke out. Suman cried, I don't care about your money. What's the use if I don't have your love? In anger, Rakesh shouted, if you're so unhappy, then leave. I don't need obstacles in my life. Suman's tears fell silently, but her pride stood tall. Without another word, she packed her bag and left. Their silence in the courtroom sealed their fate. The divorce was final. Suman's world collapsed. Parents gone, relatives turned away. No job, no degree. To survive, she took the only job she could find as a porter. Now, years later, fate had brought them face to face on this very platform. Rakesh's chest tightened with guilt. This woman, she's like this because of me. Before him stood a strong yet broken Suman, a living punishment he could never escape. He stepped forward, voice trembling. Suman, please, just listen once. She turned away sharply. There's nothing left to say, Rakesh. When you broke my heart, you didn't think twice. What's the point of your guilt now? Rakesh folded his hands. I was wrong, Suman. I left you alone, but now my only goal is to earn back your trust. Punish me if you want, but don't push me away again. Suman's tone was cold. My world now is this platform, this red sorry and badge 108. Your world is luxury, mine is survival. We live in different universes now, Rakesh replied instantly. Then I'll learn to live in your world. I'll stay where you stay, even if it's a hut. I'll share your pain, Suman. She looked at him, surprised. You in my hut, with a leaking roof and no bed. You, who lives in a mansion and can't spend a night without servants. Rakesh's eyes were wet but firm. If that hut means living with you, then it's my palace. The crowd around them whispered, a millionaire willing to live in a hut. That's love. Suman hesitated, then said, If you really mean it, my door will be open tonight. No bed, no AC, no fancy dinner, just poverty. If you can bear that, then maybe I'll believe you, Rakesh smiled faintly. Your pain is my punishment, Suman, and I'll endure it 1,000 times. That night, Suman walked back to her hut. Her heart raced. Will he really come? Or were those just words in front of the crowd? As she lifted the curtain, she heard footsteps behind her. Turning around, she saw him, Rakesh, not with his suitcase, but with a small cloth bag and some vegetables. You really came? She asked. Shocked, he smiled softly. You said your door would be open. So here I am. Inside, the hut had a broken bed, a clay stove, a hanging lantern, and water stains on the bamboo roof. Rakesh looked around, tears filling his eyes. My God, I made you live like this while I slept in luxury. Suman said sternly, This is my world now. Rakesh, if you want to stay, accept it. Rakesh nodded. That's what I want to stay with you. Later that night, he lit the stove and started cooking. Suman was stunned. You're cooking, Rakesh smiled. Why not? I used to help you make tea in our small house. Let me do it again. The aroma of food filled the hut. He served her roti and said softly, Today, for the first time, I feel human again, not a millionaire, but your husband. Suman's tears rolled down. You've really changed, Rakesh, or is this just temporary? He held her trembling hand. If it's temporary, let it end with my breath. If it's true, it'll last until my last breath. That night, under the cracked roof, they sat in silence, but it was a silence of peace, not distance. 13:54 next morning, sunlight filtered through the roof cracks. Suman opened her eyes to find Rakesh outside, sweating as he lit the stove. Milk boiled in an old kettle. Rotis puffed on the pan, and the smell of ginger tea filled the air. She whispered, Rakesh, you did all this. He smiled. I thought I'd make your morning easier. You suffered for years. It's my turn now. Her eyes filled with tears. He handed her the roti and said, They're uneven and burnt, but they're made with love. My repentance. Her heart melted. The man who once told her to leave was now kneeling at her feet, cooking in her hut. Days passed. Rakesh truly lived with her, slept on the floor, endured heat, hunger, and hardship without complaint. The neighbors whispered, "That's the millionaire who lives with his wife in a hut." But soon the whispers turned to respect. 1521 evening, Suman said softly, "Rakesh, I believe you now. You've truly changed. You've shared my pain as your own. Now, I no longer want to test you. I want to live as your wife again." Tears streamed down Rakesh's face. "Suman, this is the greatest victory of my life. Now I'll take you back to the place where you'll live like a queen." And so he did. The mansion that once felt cold and empty now glowed with Suman's laughter and warmth. Servants whispered, "Sir finally looks happy now." Rakesh proudly introduced her to everyone. "This is my wife, my greatest treasure." Her face shone again like a bride. 1653 one day, he said, "Suman, we've endured enough pain. Let's take a trip, a honeymoon, like the old days." She smiled shyly. "Yes, Rakesh, let's start a new journey." Soon, they arrived at Varanasi Junction, the same platform where they once broke apart, the same tea vendors, the same whistle of trains. But this time, Suman wasn't a porter. She stood proudly, holding her husband's hand. Tears welled in her eyes. "Rakesh, this is where I was most humiliated. And today, it's where I've won everything back." He held her hand tight. "Yes, Suman, this station is no longer our separation. It's our reunion, the beginning of our forever." The train whistle blew. They boarded together, hand in hand, eyes full of love. The crowd around whispered, "This is what true love looks like. Broken, yet more precious than gold when it heals." As the train moved, their journey continued, not just on the tracks of steel, but on the tracks of trust, forgiveness, and eternal love. Moral: true strength isn't in wealth or fame. It lies in standing beside each other through pain, poverty, and time. When love gets a second chance, even a broken home can become a palace again.